Beyond all the technical jargon you hear about suspension, there's actually quite a simple way of setting up, and then we'll look at the clickers to actually set the bike up in your preferred way. So first thing we're going to look at on the rear shock is setting the sag. That's really important. What we're looking for is about 30%. So if I lower myself onto the bike, get all your weight up and on the pedals, and you're looking for that rubber ring to about 1/3 of the way along that stroke. If it's any further down, that means your shock's too soft, so you're going to want to put a bit more air in it. Same the other way around, that's too hard, you're not getting enough sag. So 30% tends to be a really good all-round setup so that your shock's going to be using all that travel. Setting up the sag on the fork, it's slightly harder to do because what you actually want to do is get on the bike, get rolling along and get your shoulders and head in line with the handlebars, quite aggressive position, and then roll back off the bike gently without touching the front brake. And you're looking for about 20% on the fork. Tend to find that as a really good all-round setting. So next thing with the rear shock is the rebound damping. That's going to control how fast that shock is rebounding back. What you want to look for is relatively slow setup on there. A lot of your weight is through the pedals and into that rear shock. Although a fast setup will feel really good on the small chattery bumps, when you really need that shock to perform with the bigger stuff, you want it to be nice and predictable. It can kick you, especially on jumps, if it's set a little bit too fast. If it's too slow, the opposite of that, it'll say what we call pack. That means that the shock won't rebound in time, so on the next hit, it'll be halfway through the stroke and won't be able to soak up that hit. That can make the rear shock feel like it's too hard. All shocks are different, so there's no real point comparing your shock to your mates and checking how many clicks you've got, because the different frame, the different shock will act differently. You've got to sort of work that one out for yourself a little bit. So we're looking at the rebound damping of the fork. Exactly the same idea as the shock, but I actually look for a faster fork. The fork, I actually want to react a bit quicker. So to speed that up, I'm actually going to put that rebound damping to minus. Less damping, faster fork. If I wanted to make it slower, I'm going to wind that dial in to plus. More damping is going to make it slower. On high-end suspension, you may well have high and low speed damping compression. Can start to get complicated. If you get stuck, the manuals are pretty good for the base settings. High-speed damping deals with those really fast hits where suspension's moving through the travel really fast. Stutter bumps, big hits, anything like that. Low speed is more about rolling hits, bomb holes, whoops, that sort of thing. Dealing with the high-speed compression on those chattery bumps that make it move really fast, you might actually want to take some high-speed compression off if you feel like the fork is not working well enough. If you feel like you're going too far into travel in those hits, that's where you might want to put more high-speed damping on. Same idea with low, but remember that's through those slower hits, the big bomb holes. Again, if you're going too far into travel on those ones, you might want to put more low-speed damping on. High and low speed is really about tweaking that suspension so that you can make the fork or shock harder without having to just put more air into that. High and low speed compression is something that can be quite complicated. It's something that you'll only really notice maybe if you did runs back to back on one piece of trail. There's something that's worth playing around with, but don't expect just to change them in the workshop and really notice a difference. It's something that you will have to spend a little bit of time doing. So that's it for suspension setup really. Remember your sag and your rebound, they're the most important ones really. And then it's dialing in the suspension with your high and low speed compression. So that's your bike sorted. Check out our other how-to videos up here, or to look at other bike prep videos, look down here. And then you can also click on me to subscribe to GMBN.